Okay, so this assignment is local cuisine. Yum, 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 yum. Oh my gosh, look at that. Perfect coffee and a beignet. So I was in New Orleans a couple of weeks ago, and of course I had to go to Cafe du Monde to have this wonderful meal. It's an iconic place in New Orleans. Everyone should go. So that was definitely on my list. Believe it or not, the last time I was in New Orleans, I did not go there. So I felt kind of silly having not gone to an iconic place like that. So you want to think about where you're going and what the area is known for. It might be beignets, it might be a hamburger, it might be coffee. So hunt down what it is in this locale that you're traveling to and go and explore it. So it can be photographs of the food, it can be photographs of the place, it can be photographs of the people in the place. It can be the chef, it can be the server, it can be someone enjoying the food. This is wide open. So let's look at some stuff that I photographed. I got to New Orleans and I had already found that the best hamburger in town or in the state was at a place called the Company Burger. So that was going to be my first stop once I got off the plane, unloaded my luggage. So I found my way there, took a nice little walk to get there. It wasn't terribly far. And I love the logo. So this is a logo that was on the coasters. So I had to get a shot of it. Luckily, this fast food joint had bourbon. So a lover of bourbon am I. So I needed to make a shot of this beautiful glass of bourbon with the coaster, showing it off. And then there was this perfect burger. Oh my gosh, it was okay. It was very disappointing. It was not the best burger I've ever had. And as a matter of fact, later in the trip, I found an even better burger. But it made for a beautiful photograph. That cheese just melting, the fries nice and crispy, that hunks of salt. And believe it or not, I shot all of these photographs with my iPhone. So my hunt for the perfect burger continued, and I saw this really cool diner, and it was open 24 hours, and it's totally old school. And I walk in and look at that stack of bacon. If that isn't a story to be told, I don't know. Classic sunbeam white bread, mustard. Here is the kitchen area. I've sat right at the counter. They're cooking it right in front of me. They're known for using a hubcap to cook the burger. So the burger is under that hubcap, and there is the bun getting a little grill love. I also wanted to include a little bit of the place. You can see it's the Clover Grill, and then you can see the burgers cooking on the grill behind it, so kind of giving a sense of place through this image. And then this was the final shot. Tater tots, not so darn good. Hamburger, better than the company grill or the company burger. And then I included the menu in the background to still kind of give a sense of place. Well, here I am back at Cafe Du Monde. I finally made my way there. Kind of the classic shot that everyone takes. Had to document the sign so that we know what it was. Never hurts to take pictures of signs along the way. It helps with the memory. I was also taking notes every place I went. Here's that shot that we saw earlier. This is with a fisheye attached to my iPhone, kind of giving you a sense of place. I like how crowded it is, yet here's this open table. That was unusual for here. The line is always out the door. And then you can see the signage in the back, identifying the location of the place. There's just a close up of this yumminess. Another shot. And I played with the blurring out the background to just focus us in on the food. And boy, was it good. They have a shop. You can buy coffee, so a nice little close up of this. Now, I loved this place. It was a breakfast spot. They're only open Monday through Friday, and you walk in, and it is another bacon piled high kind of place. They had grits. That's why I went there. I wanted to get some good grits. They were very good. The coffee was spectacular. There are the grits covered in some American cheese. That biscuit was good. The bacon was good. The eggs were good. They had a whole crew that was working. It's not one person took care of you, it was everyone. And there was this one woman, she was just such a character. The second time that I came back, she knew my name when I walked in. I like to go to places twice. Once to, see how I feel about it, and the second time to see if it's as good as the first time. And this place was. It's a small venue, and you could see all of the workers over there just scoping out what's people were needing next. So good. Old school. This guy, he filled my coffee numerous times, cleared the plates, and he was out doing something. And I said, "Hey, can I grab your picture?" And he came over closer, and I'm like, "No, no, no, stand back, stand back." And then this is the shot that we made. I have a couple of versions of it in here. So here's like kind of the straight shot. Here's one where I kind of pumped up the color a little bit, and the black and white. I was playing with all different sorts of processing with this. The one I posted to my social media was this one because I do a lot of black and white social media. But in keeping with the feel of all the rest of the photographs from the trip, I'll probably use this one. So I want it to be cohesive when I look at everything as a whole. I'm a big fan of breakfast, so I'm always hunting down what is supposed to be the yummiest. So I picked Jimmy J's Cafe for one of my meals. There was a huge line outside. I was like, oh, drat, I'm by myself. But that's okay. It was not a big deal. I got seated at a four top. There were only 9 tables in there. The place was tiny. And the food was just spectacular. The staff was incredible. The coffee was okay. I had this Monte Cristo French toast. So ham, bacon, American cheese, a little syrup on the top of this thing. Oh my gosh, it was just delightful. So darn good. So had to make a great shot of that. I really wanted to go back and I didn't make it back only because time was too short. At the end of the meal, this was what the bill came in. So I thought that was pretty funny. I don't think it's a spectacular shot. I need to do a little bit more editing to it. We'll see what we can do with it. Another iconic spot in New Orleans is the Carousel Bar. This bar actually rotates. So the center is still and the seats rotate. It takes about 15 minutes for it to go around. And it took me about a half an hour to get a seat. But once I did, I had this pineapple daiquiri thing that was quite yummy. Um, the service was great. The people there were just having a blast. I met some guy from Boston and another guy who was there with a wedding party. So, all sorts of different people. Everyone was really friendly and wanting to talk. But this was the drink, one of my favorites, an old fashioned. But trying to showcase the location, I wanted those lights to frame the top of the glass. And I did that in both photographs. I played with that. I think this one's a little more successful. So good. Another breakfast place, the Ruby Slipper. Always a crowd here. This is a chain in New Orleans. I think there's like 5 or 7 of them in New Orleans. And this one was about 3/4 of a mile, well, not even, from my hotel. So I made it over here twice. They have a counter, so as a person by myself, I could just go right in and get a seat at the counter. And here's my ruby red slipper coffee cup. Coffee, so so. Not the best, but I like the counter. I like that everyone was super friendly. They're also talking to lots of people around me. The grits, once again, were good. The bacon could have been a little cooked a little more for my taste, but just kind of showing off all the yellows. Anyone who knows me knows that yellow is my color of food. So it kind of becomes a joke, and even on social media, someone commented on that. Well, after having all those fantastic breakfasts, I had to get back to what was important, which was maybe a cocktail. I made my way to Pat O'Brien's, home of the Hurricane, which of course I did have one. It was quite tasty, but I didn't get a good shot of it. I hate to admit it. The place was really dark, and it just failed. I should have shot it again, but I didn't realize on that it just looked in focus and it really wasn't. I should have gone back the next day, but there was no more next days. But this was the New Orleans Gin Fizz, which was fantastic. And I love that the glass said have fun. So it kind of was, that vacation attitude. fun that was going on here for my travel shots. You can't go to New Orleans without having a Sazerac. And that's it. So that was kind of my cuisine of New Orleans. And I could add, you know, shots from every single city I've ever visited. I always am looking to photograph the food, the place, the locations, make it big. I didn't do a lot with people, but you certainly can. You're going to do 3 to 6 images per location. Uh, Tell a little story in your captioning about the places. Don't think that you can only do things inside. You could do food trucks. What if you're out and about and you're doing a barbecue? That could be part of your travel as well. The campfire, if you guys are out camping, that could make for a great series of images. And if you end up with more than 6, that's okay too. Just make sure that everything is technically sound, things are in focus. If it's not, you got to scratch it. Don't make excuses. So have fun with this assignment. I know I always do, and I shoot it whether I'm traveling or if I'm at home. So, yum yum.